Good morning. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's SMS. So today is the 22nd of March. So we have done 23 last week and today, last week. And last week celebrated Holi. So this week with a lot of color, Arun Chajaja is here back to support us in understanding Section 24 better. So let's all delve into the thoughts. And I'm sure this journey would be wonderful because Section 23, 24, all these hold significance because many of the litigations that we are fighting, they are centered around these sections. So over to you, Arunji, and I don't think I need to introduce Arunji again because he's
No problem, sir. Thank you.
introduced, and I think
So-
all of us know him. So Arunji, over to you.
So thank you very much, Arundas sir, for providing me once again the very good opportunities to discuss my view on the section 24. Sir, just allow me to share the slides.
Yes. Sorry. 1 second. Yes, done, Navi.
Requesting everyone just allow me to switch off the camera because I'm traveling and connected through that particular mobile. So because of the less connectivity, I am switching off my video. So let me start with the section 24. We all know that section 24 is starting with notwithstanding anything contained. In section 22, subsection 1, the following categories of the person shall be required to be registered. We all know that irrespective of section 22, subsection 1, if I will fall in the any of the clause of the section 24, then I will be compulsory required to take a registration. The clause 1 is person making interstate taxable supplies. So if I am a person who is making the supply, which supply? Interstate taxable supply, then I can say I would require to take mandatory registration. So whether it is return the goods or services, answer is no. So therefore, can we say that if I am making the interstate taxable supplies, whether it is goods or whether it is services, we need to take compulsory registration. Example, I'm a chartered accountant. I am providing the services, taxable services. Let's say I have one client in other state. Can I say that even if my turnover is below threshold limit, I have to take compulsory registration? Any of the view, either in the chat or unmute, then can share.
Yes, any views on this?
Can you repeat, Arun sir?
See, my question was that if I am making interstate taxable supplies, because the clause 1 does not specify whether it is services or goods, can I say that if I am providing the services interstate, that is taxable?
For service, I think 20 lakh exemption is there, no? For services, there is an exemption.
Correct.
20 lakhs.
So, regarding the clause 1, I can say that following two main categories we need to understand. First, if I am making the services, whether it is intrastate supply or it is interstate supply, I am very well allowed to take the relaxation for not taking registration. That is by virtue of the N1 notification 10/2017. Now, second, whether there is any relaxation with respect to goods, answer is yes. There are. 1 second, what happened? Yeah, 1 minute दीजिएगा. Just allow me 1 minute.
Yeah, it's okay.
Sorry. Now, there was a question. What is the question? How about export of service? 20 lakh is available, right? In my view, it is also interstate supply, hence no registration up to 20 lakh. I also do agree that if I refer the definition of interstate supply, so we all know that section 7, subsection 5 talk about export is also interstate supply, which is, I can say it is covered. Section 7, subsection 5, clause A of IGST Act. So export is also interstate supply. So if the relaxation is for every interstate supply in my understanding, that if I'm export of service, I can very well take the exemptions of 20 lakhs. The only problem which has been highlighted by Mylar sir, but yes, obviously, that absolutely correct. I can't take the input tax credit. Subsequently, I can't take the refund also. So if I'm export of service, it is always advisable to take the registration. But yes, if I go by the law, I can take the relaxation up to 20 lakhs. Absolutely correct. Now, what is the relaxation with respect to goods? The one notification 21/2018, which talks about person making interstate taxable supplies of notified handicraft goods. And second relaxation, they are saying person making interstate taxable supplies of the notified product when made by craftsmen predominantly by hand, even though some machinery may also be used. So certain, I have mentioned the name of the product, but what are the condition? The condition is aggregate value should not exceed 20 lakhs. And that person has to obtain the PAN number and generated the e-way bill. See, this is important requirement for them. They are relaxed from taking the registration, but the only condition which is imposed on them by 3/2018, that they have to generate the e-way bill mandatory. So when we go to the rule 138, that is with respect to e-way bill. So in that rule, we discussed that when e-way bill is required to be generated mandatorily. So in that case, the one of the condition or one of the point would be, if I am taking the relaxation from registration because of interstate taxable supplies of the goods, either notified handicraft goods or casual taxable person, which we will discuss in the next slide, then I am mandatorily required to generate the e-way bill. So casual taxable person, what is the meaning of casual taxable person? Casual taxable person means, so the definition has been given in the bottom. A person who occasionally undertake the transaction involving the supply of the goods or services, whether as principal or agent or in any other capacity in the state or UT where he has no fixed place of business. That is casual taxable person. And if I'm a casual taxable person, I have to take mandatorily registration. But again, the relaxation which we have discussed in the last clause, that notified handicraft goods, or second is craftsmen predominantly by hand, even though some machine may be used in the process, the relaxation would be there. Only point that the notification which we have talked about, 3/2018. 3/2018 means that mandatorily required to generate the e-way bill. That is again applicable on casual taxable person. Now the third category is very important. It talks about the person who is required to pay the tax under reverse. So if I am covered by any of the provision of RCM, then irrespective of my turnover, I have to take compulsory registration. I have made two examples. Now I request the forum, please give the view. The example number 1, which talks about XYZ Limited providing the intrastate supply the service below 20 lakh. We have already discussed that not required to take registration. In the first class of section 22, the respected faculty has given the confirmation that yes, if I'm providing the intrastate supply, whether it is goods or services below threshold limit, I'm not required to take registration. So my example is XYZ Limited providing intrastate supply below 20 lakh. Whether he is required to take registration? Answer is no. Example number 2, XYZ Limited providing the interstate supply of the services below 20 lakh. Again, if I ask whether I am required to take registration, in the example number 2, I am not required to take registration. We have discussed just 5-10 minutes back. Now, suppose both the companies are receiving the GTS services. Both the companies are receiving the GTS service, and these both are unregistered as of now. Can you please confirm that whether they will fall under section 24 clause 3 required to take mandatory registration? What would be your answer? In example number 1, yes, applicable, or no, not applicable. Example number 2, yes, applicable, no, not applicable. What would be the answer? Yes in both case or no in both case? Very, very interesting question. My question to all, that there are corporate taking the GTA service. Both are having below threshold limit. One is exclusively engaged in intrastate supply. One is exclusively engaged in the interstate supply. Both are not required to take registration. But suppose they have received the GTA service, can we say that section 24 clause 3 is applicable to both or not applicable to both? What would be your answer? So there is an interesting, I can say, the discussion this, as per my understanding. Will it be yes in both case? Will it be no in both case? Let me explain to Hemanji. Hemanji have joined just now. Just tell me, let me repeat the example. And in my understanding, this example is important. Example number 1, company exclusively making intrastate supply below 20 lakhs, so not registered, taking the GTA service. Example number 2, XYZ Limited exclusively making interstate supply below 20 lakh, not required to take registration, receiving the GTA service. Now tell me your answer, whether they need to take mandatory registration, both yes, yes, no, no, yes, or both no. At the time of taking the GTA service, both are unregistered. Now tell me. So sir is saying, Anthony sir is saying registration not required. Ramandeep sir is saying registration required in both the cases. Both yes. Nilesh,
I think
yes, ma'am.
GT notification, it says no, that recipient should be all that. So it includes a registered person also, right?
It include registered, but I am saying that at the time of the transaction, both are unregistered.
Okay.
We'll try to understand when section 24(3) is applicable or not applicable. So one thing, please confirm. I request everyone to give the confirmation in the chat. So we all know, if the GTA provide the service to the 7 specified categories of the person, which include body corporate, then the RCM would be applicable as per the notification 13/2017 serial number 1. If GTA provide the service to the body corporate, whether registered or not in the GST, they have to take compulsory registration. Correct. That point we all know. Does it make any change? I am saying, does it make any change in your answer? Does it make any change in your answer? Let me repeat, what is my question? My question is that GTA service provided to the body corporate, whether registered or unregistered, RCM would be applicable. So can I say that in both the cases, registration has to be taken? Soumya ma'am, absolutely correct. But my only point, Soumya ma'am, my only point, if I go to the exemption notification and serial number 21 capital A, they are not giving the exemption to the body corporate. They are not giving the exemption to the 6 specified category. No exemption to the factory, society, cooperative society, body corporate, casual taxable person, partnership firm. No. If you are not in the 6 category and you are unregistered, then there is an exemption. I fully agree with you. But in my example, I have mentioned XYZ Limited categorically. Now, I have mentioned that XYZ Limited has taken the services of the GTA. What would be my view? My view would be example number 1, yes, mandatorily required because of section 24. Example number 2, no, not required. Example number 2, section 24, this clause will not be applicable. And yes, it is applicable. Anyone like to add? Let me tell you the reason. This person is not required to take registration. Can I say it is not required to take registration by virtue of the section 22 subsection 1? Can I say that this person is not required to take registration by virtue of section 22 below threshold limit? Agreed? And 22.1, this section 24 overriding 22.1. So therefore, if someone is exempted from, sir, someone is saying, okay, so this person is required to take registration and he has to discharge the RCM liability. But in this case, it is exempted. Answer is yes, it is exempted. Why it is exempted? Then you all will tell me that it is exempted by virtue of the notification issued in 23.2. Can I say that this person is exempted by virtue of the notification issued in 23 subsection 2? And in the last class, we have discussed, let me go to the section 23.2. Let me go to the section 23.2 once again. And we all know that section 23.2 has been made notwithstanding section 24. Meaning thereby, if someone is exempted from requirement of registration by virtue of the 23.2 notification issued in 23.2, then he is not covered in section 24. So over the forum, if anyone like to discuss or anything else. So I have completed my point.
So 24 says notwithstanding anything in 22.1. So it
Yes,
is not excluding 23. So will it has any impact on that? Because see, I believe that 24 is excluding only 22.1 and it is not excluding 23. Whereas
correct.
23 is giving an exclusion to 24. So whether there is any tweaking or what is the reason behind it? What would have been the implication if 24 would have given a notwithstanding to 22 and
I
23?
do agree, but probably, yes. So in my understanding that yes, whether I'm audible? Probably.
Yes, Aranji, yes.
Yeah, as per my understanding, because of this amendment in 23.2, so in this case, they are not required to. So even if it is not mentioned, so in section 24, it is not mentioned whether they will override 23 or not. But because of this amendment in 23, I can say the situation would remain same. This is my view. Any other view, if anyone like to add? Only
Sir,
if it's contrary, yes.
Sir, I was of the opinion because 24, it says if it is an interstate, registration is required. 23.2,
Right.
there is a notification. It says even if it is an interstate, registration is not required. So there is a conflict. Because of that, there is a overriding section which says that 23 will prevail and registration is not required only in case of interstate. But in respect of RCM, there is no such conflict between two sections. Because there is no such conflict, we have to give weightage to each section, sir.
Okay, so in your understanding that in both the cases RCM would be applicable.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Oh, okay. So fine. Anyone like to add? So I have shared my understanding, but yes, contrary view is also acceptable because as per sir, it's saying that because it is not contrary provision. So clause 1 is contrary, therefore section 23.2 will override. So I think anyone like to add, Venugopal sir or someone?
I think these are the two views that we can have. So,
Okay.
Yeah, even because
So
I have the same view as Mylergy has.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think so.
So we can proceed for the time being, right?
Yeah, we can proceed. Yeah.
Okay. Now, very interesting thing that we all know that there is an e-commerce transaction. So I can say that with respect to section 24, there are 3 clauses which covers e-commerce transactions. First is that ECO is required to pay the tax under 9 subsection 5. Second is every ECO who is required to collect TCS under section 52. And third is the person who is making the supply through ECO who is required to collect TCS under section 52. So first, if I am covered in the 9 subsection 5, so I have explained with the small flow chart. I hope it would helpful to you. See, I am Mr. A making the supply through e-commerce operator, let's say supply of the goods through Amazon. Then I will take under regular category. Amazon will take under TCS category. Okay. So why? Because if I am making the supply through Amazon, then Amazon will collect the TCS or Flipkart will collect the TCS. So Flipkart has to take registration under TCS category, but I will take under regular category. Where I will fall? I will fall in this clause, the person who supply the goods or services other than 9(5). But I am making the supply through ECO. Which ECO? Who is required to collect TCS under section 52. Perfect. So then the person who is required to pay the tax under section 9(5). So like we all know that if ECO who is considered as deemed supplier under section 9(5), then they have to take mandatory category of registration. Obviously, that registration would also be under regular category. Ola, Uber, Oyo Rooms, Urban Clap, or Swiggy, Zomato. I am not going into the detailed discussion of 29 subsection 5. That is separate discussion. But yes, this is the category. Then in the goods or services, they have issued one relaxation. Because if I am making the supply of services through ECO, which ECO? Who is required to collect TCS under section 52, then I am not required to take registration mandatorily. I am required to take registration only when it crossed the 20 lakhs. Correct? So this particular transaction is exempted by virtue of the notification 65/17. Okay. Now, recently we all know that the supplier of the goods who is making the supply through ECO is also being relaxed, that if I am having the turnover below threshold limit, then I can also take the relaxation. I can also take the relaxation from registration. So we'll discuss all these conditions. I have given these in the next slide. So if I am making the supply of the goods or I am making the supply of the services, then there is a one notification which giving me the relaxation from services. There is one notification which giving me the relaxation from goods. Okay. So now, if I am not registered, but still making the supply of services through ECO, then whether ECO will collect the TCS or whether ECO would require to take mandatory registration. For that, there is also one more relaxation given by 37/2023. That all the two notification, basically we can say that we will discuss in slight detail. But I have one question before proceeding to that. I have one question. So if Mr. A making the supply of services, which services? Which are covered in the 9(5). Let's say, assume I am a restaurant. Okay. I am making the supply through Zomato, Swiggy. My turnover exceed 20 lakhs. I do agree. I am not required to pay the tax because the taxes will be paid by Zomato, Swiggy 9(5). Do I need to take registration? If turnover cross threshold limit, just over to the form and just give me the your view that if I am a supplier who is exclusively engaged in the 9(5) supplies, I am making the supply through 9(5), whether I am required to take registration after crossing threshold limit.
In my view, yes. Because apart from 9(5) also, I can have other supplies also. Like I'm supplying, maybe if I'm a restaurant, I'm supplying through the e-commerce operator, but I may also have independent supply directly also. So in my view, even if I'm a supplier who's within the limits of 9(5) and my threshold is crossing, so I have to take the registration.
Okay, I am also having the same view because it is nowhere relaxed, neither 23(1) nor any other provision. But the problem is he is not required to pay the taxes at all, but still he is required to take registration, because if I read the 23(1), I find that it is not exempted supply. Supply is taxable. Only problem, the liability to pay the tax is shifted on another person. So therefore, required. Yes, Ramandeep sir, absolutely correct. 23(1) does not give the relaxation. So Ramandeep sir, would you like to add only one point for the last slide? You have also said yes. In this example, you have also said yes that they have to take registration. What is the reasoning for this particular category? Can't we say that 23(2) overrides section 24? So there is no requirement of registration even under RCM.
Sir, didn't got your question right. I mean, you are asking for the same question or this category?
Yeah, same question.
Yes.
Exactly same question. Just your view only.
Okay. I think section 23 clearly says that when a person engages exclusively in supply of business of goods and services that are not liable or wholly exempt from tax. I feel this.
Sir, let me open that particular 23(2) also. That will help you.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I am saying that because I am providing the services interstate supply,
Yes.
I am not required to take registration. Why? Because 23(2) there is one notification which give me the relaxation that you can provide the interstate supply the service till 20 lakh, not required to take registration.
Correct.
So we can discuss in the subsequent classes also. But when I will share the PPT in the group.
Yes.
And just I like the view of the forum on the second example, whether he is relaxed from RCM or not relaxed from RCM. That's it. Now, so sorry, there would be probably some sound. I hope. I'll try my best. So the threshold limit. So I can say that if I am making the supply the goods or services through ECO, then I am relaxed by one notification which was relaxing services. And now one can say that now whether I'm supplying the goods or I am supplying the services, I am not required to take registration. Is that clear?
No, Arunji, can you please repeat it? I think we lost your sound in the middle. That's it.
So, okay, my voice is lost. Let me repeat once again. If I am making the supply of the goods through Amazon, Flipkart, but my turnover is below threshold limit, then I am not required to take a registration because the relaxation has been given. Similarly, if I am making the supply the services through ECO, who is required to collect the TCS, then also it has been relaxed since long. So in both the cases, I am not required to take registration. But yes, recently, the relaxation has been given. Recently, the relaxation has been given to that ECO also from TCS. Let me read that notification. So the notification 37, which I'm talking about, relaxing the ECO from section 52. The central government notify the ECO who is required to collect the TCS as the class of the person who shall follow the following special procedure in respect of the supply of the goods exempted from obtaining the registration in 23(2) wide, which notification 34. So if I am making the supply the goods through Amazon, then I, being a supplier of the goods, is being relaxed by this notification. But ECO is also being relaxed, shall allow the supply the goods by the said person only if enrollment number has been allotted by the common portal. So if I am supplier of the goods, making the supply through Amazon, turnover is below threshold limit, then I can say that I am not required to take registration, but I have to obtain the enrollment number from the common portal, that is gst.gov.in. ECO shall not allow any interstate supply the goods through it by the said person. The ECO shall not collect the TCS. This line is important. So if I'm making the supply through ECO, then ECO, because of this relaxation, he will not collect TCS. And ECO shall furnish the details in the GSTR 8. And if multiple ECO are involved in the single supply, then ECO shall mean who finally release the payment to the said person for the supply. So this is relaxing the ECO not to collect TCS, and this is relaxing the supplier. But yes, there are certain conditions. What are the conditions? That I cannot make the interstate supply. I cannot make the supply the goods through ECO in more than one state. I have to obtain the PAN number, and on the basis of the PAN, I have to declare the same on the common portal. Then I will obtain the enrollment number on the common portal, and I am not allowed to take more than one enrollment number. So I can do the supply through ECO only in the one state. And last is, such person are subsequently granted the registration under section 25. So we know that when my turnover crossed the threshold limit, then yes, I have to take registration compulsorily. Then this relaxation would not be applicable. So these are the relaxation for these category. So any question of the forum? So any argument? So fine. Let
Arunji,
Yeah,
one
I
question.
think we can move forward. Yeah.
sorry sir, एक बार आवाज वापस repeat करेंगे sir?
No, we can move forward. I think if there are no queries on this. But I think this is a welcome change. This particular relief that has been given for enrollment number, this is a welcome change. Because the people who were supplying to e-commerce operator only intrastate, they were having a lot of problems. And after COVID, we have seen a lot of people who have lost their jobs. They are doing supplies through e-commerce operators of different types, and taking registration was becoming a huge challenge because they are taking the registration in their residence. So I think this is a welcome change that has been come.
Correct. Nowadays, no business is possible without the presence of e-commerce operator. So if I'm not registered in the if I'm not registered in, let's say, Big Basket or Amazon, so even I can't sustain my business at all. So considering that, probably that amendment has been given. But still, I have the one doubt that why government has not given the relaxation to the composite dealer for services. See, I do agree that they have made the amendment with respect to supply of the goods. That yes, composition dealer now can make the supply of the goods through ECO. Can they make the supply of the services still in the 10 subsection 2? The restriction is there that no, they can't make the supply of the services through such ECO who is required to collect TCS. So might be in future they can also allow probably. I'm not sure. So let me move to the another category. Now, NRTP. NRTP means non-resident taxable person who occasionally undertake the transaction involving the supply of the goods or services, whether as principal or agent or in any other capacity, but who has no fixed place of the business or residence in India. So it means that if I am NRTP, actually belongs to outside India, but coming to India occasionally, and from India, I like to make the taxable supplies. So one thing to be noted that non-resident taxable person is different from OIDAR. OIDAR means Online Information Database Access Retrieval. So what is NRTP? NRTP is, I can say, the temporary category of registration that initially it is valid for 90 days and can subsequently extend for another period of 90 more days. So maximum registration would be for 180 days. But OIDAR is a separate category. In this case, they will file the GSTR 5. Let me move to the another category, ISD. ISD, whether or not separately registered in the GST. So if I am, see, we all know that from 1st April 25, the ISD provision become mandatory. From 1st April 25, ISD provision become mandatory. So in that case, the section 24 clause 7, clause 8, sorry. So one has to take registration under the ISD category. ISD means the office of the supplier of the goods or services or both which receive the tax invoice toward the receipt of input service, including RCM. And we have recently one amendment by virtue of the Finance Act 25 that they have added 5.3 and 5.4, which is, I can say, slight correction is there only because it was already there 9.3, 9.4. Only they have added the 5.3, 5.4. Now the problem is, by virtue of this amendment, so if an ISD receive the invoices on which RCM is applicable, then that RCM has to be distributed also. Now, my one major problem that can the ISD, the form GSTR 6 allow me to pay the tax under RCM? See, in the GSTR 3B, we are very well allowed to pay the tax under RCM. In the GSTR 5, NRTP, we are allowed to pay the tax under RCM. But I don't find any column in which ISD himself can discharge the liability under RCM. So, because of this, I can say it will create slight more complication. So, for example, I am head office, I have received the legal service and for the benefit of my branches. Can I take this bill in the ISD registration? Answer is no. Why no? Because if I will take under ISD, then ISD himself can't pay the tax under RCM. So I have to take under regular category of registration. Let's say HO has one more registration. So they will take the advocate ka bill in the regular category of registration. They will pay the tax under RCM and they will cross charge to ISD. ISD will receive the inward invoice from head office GST number, and that invoice will again be distributed to the branches according to this mechanism. So I can say, or which I can see, that because of this 9394 was already there, 5354 has been added. So it means they are very clear by this amendment that RCM invoice would also be distributed. But because ISD can't pay the tax through GSTR 6, therefore, first it has to be taken under the regular category, pay the tax under RCM, then they will cross charge to the ISD. Again, ISD will distribute. Okay. Self-invoice from regular to ISD will be done. So RCM will be applicable only by the respective branches where services are rendered. So, sir, as per my understanding, suppose I am registered person and advocate is giving the invoice to me, then I will pay the tax under RCM, not the branches. Because ISD does not have any option. ISD does not have any option to report the transaction as outward RCM. Like in the GSTR1, we have this option. ISD can only distribute the credit which is being received. So in that case, if advocate has given the services to the ISD number, let's say for the benefit of multiple branches, then by this amendment, I can say this complex process has to be adopted. I would say if you can add by unmuting yourself, it would be great. Self-invoicing from regular to ISD will be done.
Actually, Arunji, what is happening is in Rule 39(1) capital A, they've introduced this mechanism that if you have to pay any RCM under 93 or 94, so what you do is the distinct person in that particular state where the ISD is there, they will receive the invoices under 9394. They will make the payment, and as you have rightly shared, then they will raise an invoice on the ISD, for the particular RCM related expenses. And then the ISD will distribute this credit as per the proportion given in section Rule 39. So that is what I think Ramandeep ji is also trying to say. Is
Okay.
that, yeah, so what ideally has to be done, one issue that we have already stated from the trade, the problem is this, in this particular scenario, what will happen now? What I was doing previously, I was getting it in my distinct person, I was paying the RCM, and I was doing a cross charge in the same month. But Abhi, now because of this, what will happen? Suppose I've got a advocate's invoice in the month of February. So what I'll do, the distinct person, the regular registration in that particular state where ISD is there, he will pay the tax. After paying the tax, he will also avail the credit in the February 3B. But he can transfer this credit to the ISD only in the month of March.
Okay. So there would be the lag of
That
1
will be
month.
a lag of 1 month. So that is one thing that has been apprehended. So let's see how it's taken care of.
Correct.
But this is how it has been said.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So now the next category is the person who is registered, who is required to registered under section 51. So that will also be compulsory registration. So section 51, we all know that like the government, so central government, state government, etc., who is required to collect the TDS, who is required to deduct the TDS, then they have to take compulsory registration. So in this context, whether that government who is registered for the purpose of section 51, is it a registered person or not? So for that, I have divided three category, I can say. The category when the TDS, that government who is registered only for the purpose of section 51 will be considered as registered person only. So if I say in the normal context, wherever the word registered person is written in the law, with that includes section 51 also. So like for example, they have given one circular 198, and in the circular 198, they are saying that e-invoicing would be applicable if the supply is made to the government who is registered only for the purpose of section 51. Answer was yes. If you read this circular in detail, then we will be able to understand that yes, they are saying section 51 is also the registered person, so e-invoicing would be applicable. So if supplier is having the turnover more than 5 crore, who is required to issue the e-invoice, then if that person is making the supply to the government, he will have to issue the e-invoice compulsory. That is what is written in the circular 198. Now, in some cases, they are saying that government who is not considered as registered person. So if any provision want that, then they have to specifically mention. Example, definition of non-taxable online recipient. If you go to the definition of NTOR, where it is applicable, that we will discuss in the subsequent slide in case of OIDA. So non-taxable online recipient ka definition, it specifically says that for the purpose of this clause, the expression unregistered. So I have not, so there was slight not completely added. So for the purpose of this expression, they're saying that unregistered person include the person who is registered only for the purpose of section 51. So it means whether section 51 is NTOR, answer is yes. They are unregistered person, but only for the limited purpose. Similarly, if the services has been given to the government, any supply of the goods or services has been given to the government, whether government would require to pay the tax under RCM? See, normally answer would be yes, because they are registered person, but multiple places the relaxation has been given by giving the proviso. If you refer, I have given 2 examples. It is not restricted to 2, it might be more than 2. Just I have given 2 examples that, for example, if I'm a GTA providing the service to the government who is registered only for the purpose of section 51, in that case, will the government pay the tax under RCM? Answer is no, because they have excluded by way of proviso. Similarly, in the security services, they have excluded by way of proviso. So I hope it is, and again, to the entire forum, to the entire member, I would like to convey my really sorry for that, because there is a lot of disturbance. So Arup sir, kindly excuse me, because backside mein काफी disturbance hai. So that
That's
is
it.
the reason. I am at
Great.
ICI only. That is,
Okay.
so there was a
Okay.
one lecture to be.
Yes. No, here I would like to add, Arunji, one important
Please.
thing is that for the previous slide, wherever the person is registered for the purpose of TDS, even for the purpose of reporting under GSTR 1, they will be considered to be B2B. So that is again a major clarification that has come, because many of the taxpayers, they were reporting this under B2C. And because of that, when the department was analyzing GSTR 7 versus GSTR 1 versus 3B and all these details, so they have raised notices that, you have made supplies to government departments who are registered, but why have you not shown in B2B? So then in, I think, 23, I'll just have to track the circular when it come. So in the circular, they have clarified that even if you are making a supply to a person who is registered only for the limited purpose of GST TDS, they don't have a regular GST number. Even then, kindly report that turnover in B2B and not B2C. So that is again a major thing. And another, I think this is where the dichotomy is there. So in one place you're saying if it is registered under for TDS, it will be unregistered. Again, you're saying for reporting it will be for the registered, it will be considered to be a B2B for the purpose of limited purpose of reporting under GSTR 1.
Correct, sir. There was a circular. Absolutely correct.
Yes. Okay.
Now, that next category is OIDAR, Online Information Database Access Retrieval Services, from a place outside India to a place in India, to a person in India, but other than registered person. So if OIDAR, so in short, I will use the word OIDAR. If OIDAR provides the service in India to registered person, then what will be the situation? The tax will be under RCM. The recipient will pay the tax. Whether OIDAR need to take registration, answer is no. When they need to take registration mandatorily, if they provide the service in India to other than registered person. So they are providing the service to unregistered person, including section 51. So if OIDAR provide the service in India to unregistered person, point number 1. Point number 2, if registered, but only for the purpose of section 51, which we have just now discussed, that it is also considered as unregistered only. So in that case, I can say that the liability would be on OIDAR. They have to take mandatory registration and pay the tax. The definition of OIDAR, we all know, but only one point I like to highlight, that earlier they were saying essentially automated and involving minimum human intervention. The problem is now this word has been omitted. It means it is not required essentially automated involving minimum human intervention. So for example, tomorrow might be taking the class from the Zoom because it is not possible without information technology. It's saying that it is mediated by IT over the internet or an electronic network. Impossible to ensure to provide the same in the absence of information technology. They have given the certain example, and these two important terms, essentially automated and minimum human intervention, has been omitted, which might create litigation in future. So this is the OIDAR, and if they provide the service in India to registered, RCM would be applicable. Unregistered, OIDAR will pay the tax. And next category is every person supplying online money gaming from a place outside India to a person in India. Now here we should have to compare one difference. In case of OIDAR, they are saying to registered person, RCM would be applicable. When they have to take compulsory registration, if they provide the service in India to unregistered person. But in this case, online money gaming, they are saying if they provide the same in India, it will always be the responsibility of online money gaming to discharge the liability of tax. In section 24, they are only saying requirement of registration. But yes, if online money gaming provide the supply in India, whether to registered or unregistered, in both the cases, online money gaming has to take registration and they have to pay the tax under forward charge. The definition of online money gaming. And just I like to ask one question, whether online money gaming is goods or service. Just I like to, whether online money gaming is goods or
Yeah, it's a service, I think, Arunji.
whether online money gaming is goods or services.
Services.
Answer is, sir, with due respect, in my view, it is goods. Why
Okay.
I am saying so? Why I am saying so? See, if you read online money gaming, it is nothing but specified actionable claim. It is nothing but a specified actionable claim. And if I refer the definition of goods, it will include money gaming is goods. I like to highlight one difference, that in case of OIDA, online information database access retrieval, they are saying online gaming is example of OIDAR, but they have exclude the online money gaming. Why they have exclude? Because online money gaming, which is nothing but specified actionable claim, and in turn, which is goods. Therefore, it is not services, it is not covered. One more point I like to highlight, that we all know that we need to pay the tax on advance for supply of service. Correct. We need to pay the tax on advance for supply the service. My point
Right.
is, do I need to pay the tax on advance for supply the goods? Answer is primarily not, but only in one case. What is that case? Online money gaming. If you go to that principal notification, which has been issued 66/2017, issued in November 2017, if I'm not wrong, 15th November 2017, that has been amended in October 22. That has been amended. Why that has been amended? Because they need, if the supply of the goods by way of online money gaming, then if the supply of the goods by way of online money gaming, then GST will be payable at the time of advance. So they have amended that notification 65. Goods means every kind of other than money and security, but include actionable claim. Yes, sir. So, Ramandeep sir, I hope you agree whether online money gaming is goods or services. So, in my view, it is goods. Okay, sir. And parallelly, I can say that please remember that normally the GST would be payable on advance for supply service, but in case of the goods, answer is yes, only in this case, online money gaming. Okay. And this is the last. And
No, Arunji, in the last
person
one.
making the taxable supply the service on behalf of another tax. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Arunji, in the last slide, online money gaming. So, like here, there's in the last one, just previous to, yeah. So they're saying from a place outside India to a place in person in India. Now the trade is facing a unique issue. Issue is my server is based in Singapore. Okay. But my business operations are happening in India. Okay.
Oh.
My office is based out of India only. So in that case, will this be applicable? So that is again a thing that is being doubted. You got my
So
point? Because
you mean to say only server
Yeah.
is located outside India, is it?
yes. So whether the existence of, because there are three parties in this. One is the company who is holding the ownership of the online gaming business. Second is
Correct.
where the server is located, from where I'm having the data and everything is there. Third are the players. So here to a person in India, players are in India, so that is taken care of. Now place outside India will be where the management control is there or where the server is there. So there is no clarity on that actually. Because in my
Okay.
case, in the case of my client, the management control is in India only. And the person players are also in India. Only our server is in Singapore. So whether this will be considered to be what is the view of the house on this?
So what is the location of supply? That is the doubtful point.
Yeah, so whether it will be a place, because here it is saying from a place outside India. So here, since my server is outside India, whether it will be considered to be a place outside India. Even though my company is in India, my management control is in India, will
So
it make a
in
difference?
that case, I can say the person who is supplying that online money gaming, that would be located. So, for example, in your case, the person who is supplying, do agree that server, etc., or function, that infrastructure is located out of India. But does it mean that he is from outside India? In my understanding, but I do not have this type of the problem. So it will be considered in India only because the definition of location of supply will come into the picture. But yes, I do agree that there is a slight ambiguity or slight relaxation. So the last clause, and we have only 4 minutes. So let me complete this part also. This section 24, clause 7. It says that person who make the taxable supply of goods or services on behalf of other taxable person. So important term is other taxable person. So other person, on behalf of that I am providing the goods or services. That should be taxable person. Then only I would fall under compulsory category of registration. Here they have issued one circular 57 in which they have clarified. So for example, if I am APMC, means like I am agriculture commission agent, then do I need to take registration? So this circular has given the clarification by interlinking the schedule 1 and section 24. So let me read the main point which has been discussed. As per section 24, the person is liable for mandatory registration if you make the taxable supply the goods or service on behalf of other taxable person. Accordingly, the commission agent will get mandatorily registered if both conditions are satisfied. Principal should be taxable person and supply made by the commission agent should also be taxable. If the commission agent under APMC Act who supplies on behalf of agriculturist, and agriculturist is not a taxable person, so therefore it will not come under the purview of section 24. Thus, a commission agent who is making the supply of on behalf of non-taxable person, not the taxable person, so will not come into the ambit. But again, one problem which I normally face from every person. So normally the people ask the question, say, for example, I am the agent for the post office, or I am the agent for the mutual fund organization, MF, distributor. Will I fall under compulsory category of registration? Or I can take the exemption of basic 20 lakhs. I can take the relaxation. So still I do not have concrete answer to the forum if can add 1 or 2 points. Whether in this case mutual fund distributor will fall under this clause and take mandatory registration. Okay, so why we can say that exemption would be available? See, I am a commission agent. I am making the let's say on behalf of post office, I am basically doing certain business and on which I am getting the commission. That is not under RCM, so I am not relaxed by that 23(1). Only 23(2), sorry. Only problem, see, word agent is there with me. Then why if I will not fall under this mandatory category and still I can enjoy the benefit of 20 lakhs? So in this case, I can only say that, so prima facie it appears that basic threshold limit should be applicable 20 lakhs. But the problem is if my word agent is being added in my name, then the problem would be normally in notices I have seen that when the department is sending the notice to the mutual fund distributor agent, then they are saying that you are compulsory required to take registration. Therefore, 20 lakhs will not be available. So this is over to you, Arup sir. From my side, this discussion is completed.
Thank you so much, Arunji. I think it was really interesting session to be part of. And each one of us will agree that we have really learned a lot, I think, from the deliberations. And thanks to all the participants for joining in the Saturday morning sessions. So because it's really, I think every day we keep on learning something or the other. Because अगर हम लोग नहीं पढ़ते ना from 9 to 10 तो हम लोग कुछ और करते but सीखते नहीं, इतना तो पक्का है. At least 1 घंटा जो हम लोग सिस्टम में है, देख रहे हैं, स्क्रीन को पढ़ रहे हैं. I think while going through all this, we are actually learning. Whatever value addition is happening, I think that value addition is really wonderful. So thank you, Arunji, for once again
Thank
for
you, sir.
taking the wonderful session. So we'll all again meet on the next Saturday, and happy filing, your applications under 128A and 16 file. Thank you and have a great weekend ahead. Thank you very
Correct,
much.
sir. Thank you.